Madrona Labs Aalto CM is a fantastic sounding virtual analog synth. It's only monophonic, but the powerful oscillator and the unusual waveguide delay section mean that it's got a wide tonal range, making it perfect for creating expressive leads, fat basses and extreme effects. Okay, let's start by opening Aalto CM in your DAW. The default patch is a simple sine tone. We take a look at the complex oscillator panel, specifically the shape parameter. You can see that we get sawtooth and square shapes by turning this up and down. Let's return it to the 12 o'clock position, and we can create some other timbres using the oscillator's frequency modulation capability. Turn up the mod index knob and you'll hear the FM kick in. We can control the FM's character using the ratio knob. We can add further harmonics by turning up the tombow parameter and add extra grip by adding some noise into the mix with the noise parameter. Turn them both back down to 0 when you're done. Now adjust shape as we did before. You'll hear that the introduction of FM has a dramatic effect on these saw and square shapes. Turn shape all the way down to 9 o'clock to give us a square. Now we've got a really rich timbre, but to make it come alive, we need to try out some modulation. Set the mod index to 1.5 or so. Aalto has a fantastic modulation routing system that's easy to use and also incredibly visual. To route the synth's LFO to the mod index parameter, drag from the signal output, the small circle at the bottom of the LFO panel, to the signal input, the larger circle, with the arrow pointing to the mod index parameter. That set up the routing, but it won't have an effect until we turn up the modulation amount. Let's turn this up now, and also turn up the level parameter in the LFO. This gives us a gnarly FM sound. To disconnect modulation routing, simply click on a connection and drag the circle away from the connection. Okay, now let's route the LFO output to the filter panel's cutoff. Set this new modulation amount up to the maximum possible and turn down the cutoff to about 2000. Now set the LFO's frequency to 6. This gives us a rhythmic bass sound. Let's add some more character using Aalto CM's secret weapon, the waveguide delay. Set the waveguide delay's frequency to 440 and then route the LFO signal output to the frequency's signal input. Set the modulation amount to about 1 o'clock. Turn up the input and drive to 1. This gives us a thick chorus style effect. You'll notice the sound has quite a tail on it, and there are a couple of ways to deal with this. You can turn down the decay parameter in the gate panel and also turn down the release time of the amplitude envelope. Let's take a look at Aalto CM's internal sequencer. Click its int host toggle and the sequencer will sync to the host tempo. Drag from the rightmost signal output to the shape parameter's signal input. Set the modulation amount to about 4 o'clock. Now enter some random values into the sequencer by dragging on some of the steps. You won't hear any difference to the sound until you press play on your DAW. Do this now and play some notes. You'll hear the timbre modulate rhythmically as you do. As well as the LFO and sequencer, Aalto CM has a couple of envelopes that you can use as modulation sources. In the complex oscillator panel, turn the ratio all the way down to 0 and route envelope to signal output to the ratio signal input. Turn the modulation amount up to the maximum possible level. Set release to 20. Now when you play a note, you'll hear the very obvious effect the ratio modulation is having on the sound, and you'll see the ratio dial moving too. In the voices panel, you'll see that the number of voices and the unison toggle are grayed out, as they're only available in the commercial version of Aalto. However, we can adjust the pitch, bend, vibrato and glide parameters. Turn up the glide to about 0.5 to get a snaking effect between notes. Finally, let's take a look at the output panel. Here we can adjust the pan position of the sound and see an oscilloscope style waveform that displays the synth's output. The most useful thing here though is the reverb knob. Turn this up to add a simple reverb effect, though make sure you turn down the synth's level in your DAW so that it doesn't overload the channel.